Okay, let's do this.
All right. Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
Isn't it fun to quote Avengers references right before we go on air? Oh, God, just the greatest. And you will never know which one it was. You will never know. Anyways. Tonight, we are recapping the third episode of Fox's reimagining of the Dark Knight mythology. Episode 3, entitled The Balloon Man. Ooh. So join us as we venture into Batman's birthplace.
And explore Gotham.
Yes. Here we are once again on Exploring Gotham. So here we got another kind of a classic case of the week. You know, we get a villain that's probably not going to be around for more than an episode, and you know it's solved within the course of 45 minutes. So what do you think of the Balloon Man, BlueDragonFive? Was it a bunch of filler, or was there a lot of substance to it? What was your take?
Well, interesting reaction to it actually. I think it's a very solid episode. It is pretty much filler, but it's really character and establishment, real setup. So it is that it's a solid episode. You're right. It is kind of a case by case episode. However, rewatching it though, I find thematically it's got a lot of great stuff going on. So I think it is solid, but it has a lot of real thematic drive stuff, especially with Jim Gordon and the future of Gotham. I'm really interested by that. It really holds up on the rewatch a lot more than it does the first time, I gotta say.
I'll give it this much. I was still kind of skeptical about young Bruce Wayne going into tonight, and after this episode, I'm completely sold. Young Bruce Wayne, if he wasn't sold already for me, this episode clearly did it. I loved what they did with him and Alfred and the whole dichotomy of that. But we'll get into all of that and a lot more.
But let me say this before we jump into it further. One last thought on the thing going into it. I want to say this episode, however, is not perfect. There are a few holes in it, and of course, the big continual problem is still rampant in this. So we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yes,
you folks watch the other two
in the room.
the big unfounded elephant in the room. Darn it. All right, so we got a quick.
You were like, oh, maybe this will be like the start of her getting on Gordon's side. Nope.
Yeah. We should start as running bets, and I'm betting it's going to last. If it's good, it's going to last at least less than 2 hours.
Over/under episodes. Oh, I am so okay. You want to do? Let's do that when we get to that. I'm totally down.
All right.
All right.
Just to catch people up to speed real quick, because now we're in kind of previous modes. So Gordon Bullock, they saved the homeless children in the previous episode. Penguin's plotting his grand return into Gotham, and he's really mapping it out there. And meanwhile, Fish Mooney's after Falcone. We see that play out here definitely. And the last grand cliffhanger we left on was Selena Kyle has a clue for Jim Gordon as to who the Wayne Killer is, or at least what the Wayne Killer looks like.
I just have 2 notes about this recap really quick.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm getting really sick of hearing Penguin's whole, there's a war coming! An awful war! There's going to be bloods in the street!
I'm glad you...
Okay, yeah. Why? Yeah.
I like, because it's kind of, think about it, it's the fill-in for, lack of an opening. Like an opening credit sequence. I hope they kind of continue that, because that's kind of a neat thing. Basically, him saying there's a war coming in Gotham. I don't know. I kind of like that.
I'm sick of it.
I'm just saying now. Before, yes, I would have been. I could be sick of it. But it sounds almost musically like that's the opening of the show. It always opens.
There's a war coming. River of blood in the streets. Okay, you know what? If they make it an actual opening and use that dialogue, I'd be totally down with that. I agree with you. It kind of sums up the whole show.
Yeah, I think that's their unofficial opening. That's the reason I'm cool with it. It does kind of sum up what the show's going for.
All right, fair enough.
At least first season, you know? I mean, they do change openings and overall recaps and stuff. Like, look at Arrow. They do that each season, pretty much.
Sure. But then, anyway. My second nitpick, and this is kind of a minor one, is they play the clip of Fish Mooney saying, "I am going to kill that old man." And then I'm like, with your bare hands and your teeth? But no, they cut that out. It's like, really? You keep the Penguin stuff in every recap, but you can't give us a little Fish Mooney action? Like, I just love that line so much, and I was disappointed it was like awkwardly sort of edited in, like, I only wish the Penguin was still alive. I don't know. But,
Hey,
like I
so,
said, very minor nitpicks, so let's get into the episode.
yeah, well, we start with probably one of the best openings to an episode so far. Man, it was a really good opening. We
I
see.
wish this was the cold opening and it didn't go into the Balloon Man stuff. Honestly, I wish we would have gotten the Gotham title screen right after this.
Yeah, I was expecting that just to end right after the line here. But anyway, so
Uh-huh.
we have Penguin's grand homecoming. Well, not
Yep.
grand, I should say. His homecoming to Gotham. And boy, is it shot! It is shot and conceived so well. It's
It's
basically
great, yeah.
it sums up the show so well, and just sums up it really. This again, this is real solid. If it is filler, it's definitely really solid, well-founded filler. It is tying into an overall theme here that Gotham is really more hopeless and corrupt than ever. Because in the comics, they do strive for the fact that how bad was Gotham before the crazy people got there? It was pretty bad with the corruption and the crime. Because basically, people are getting mugged left and right in here. Prostitution, broad daylight. You know, like cops literally like smiling, beat cops just taking the cash from the falafel guy. Maybe a reference to Batman Begins, maybe. Pretty much guys taking bribes, muggings going on, no one doing anything about it, and then Penguin just steps off the bus and goes, home.
Oh.
That's perfect. Then we get into our main plot, which, by the way, I'm wondering if anyone was mad that the Balloon Man, he changes his gimmicks and his disguises per operation.
With the pig mask.
Yeah, because everyone thought. I shouldn't say everyone thought. I'm saying it's probably an homage to Professor Pig.
Probably, yeah.
Really, it wouldn't have made any sense because that's not Pig's MO at all. But anyways, I'm just a little thing because I'm sure everyone's speculating. Oh man, they're doing Professor Pig because a guy in a pig mask. Anyway, so what happens? What happens with our Balloon Man here?
Okay, well, first of all, we get a little bit of a background on this.
Ronald Danzer.
Yeah, Ronald Danzer. Thank you. And what's this guy's deal? He's like some sort of corrupt businessman or of some sort.
Yeah, he steals from like innocent people. I assume like putting their money to a pension of some sort. You know. Like one of those guys, like the downtrodden people, like they trust in this guy and he takes advantage of them. The press is outside frenzying, and anyway, so he's trying to make a quick escape, telling his lawyers, "Hey, get me off here. I pay the cops for something, don't I?"
Okay, so he goes outside. You know, he's trying to avoid the torches and pitchforks, as he calls it.
Mm-hmm.
And then this very sketchy individual comes up with a cart of balloons and a pig mask, as aforementioned, and you know, very casual, like just, hey, you want a balloon?
By the way, I love the composition of the shot of him walking because like the rickety wheel, him in the background, the cart up close. That's a really a lot of good shot composition in this episode. This series so far, actually.
Yeah. So basically, I did not expect this at all, but he handcuffs Danzer to a weather balloon, and Danzer just goes floating up. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, who knew Carl Fredricksen had such issues?
You're right.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But you know,
honestly,
someone
that came to mind for me too.
Someone had to think of that before.
Okay. Right when I saw that intro, I knew what this episode was going to be, and it totally lived up for it to me. You know what I thought this episode was going to be?
What?
I thought basically what they're doing is they're taking a campy as hell premise from the 60s show or something that would have worked right into
with
this
real world
show.
Implications.
Exactly. And I was like, okay, I'm down with that. Let's see where it goes.
You know, Tiki, I gotta tell you, I'd never thought about that. That's brilliant.
No, that was honestly what I was kind of thinking the whole episode. I was like, this is so goofy that it feels like it should be something straight out of the the Adam West Batman.
Yeah, I'm thinking
It's
like
not.
more like
They're taking it totally seriously.
I'm thinking it's like kind of a comics thing where pretty much like get a little more outlandish, like plays deal. It's a little more out there premise, and I was a little worried how this episode is going to sell because it's a tough thing to sell, especially on kind of a grounded cop show like this.
Right. I mean, the effect of him floating up was pretty good. I mean, that must have been a good stunt. What do you think?
Oh yeah, it's impressive. Especially the last time that happens. It's really impressive.
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll get to that.
Anyway, so the point is, Danzer's he's being lifted up in the air.
But I do admit, I think that was a really corny place to cut to the Gotham.
I'll give you that. It would have been so much better.
So much better with just like Penguin's home, and then Gotham. I mean, that just works. It's so kinetic. Okay, but anyways, minor.
Yeah, you don't really need like going into the TV then the next scene. You could just cut it off there. But anyway, so let's see. So he's victim number uno. Which, by the way, a little plot thing here. I like how a little touch that the guy masked this huge weather balloon with a bunch of little balloons, so not to arouse suspicion. That's a good idea.
Oh yeah, right.
Anyway, so Bullock and the Gordon, they're investigating the crime scene there with the abandoned balloon cart full of bricks for ballast and so on and so forth. And Bullock's happy about.
Yeah, Bullock says the guy got what he deserved, and Bullock wants to go get what Bullock deserves, which is a Danish.
Again, Bullockisms. We got a chocolate. Captain Logan has a chocolate.
There's basically like a running gag of Bullock food jokes at this point. All right.
Well, actually, we haven't done the classic Bullock's love affair with donuts yet. That's popular in Batman animated series.
Right.
But anyway, so point is Bullock.
That's just like building character development.
Maybe. Like he starts out soft and doughy.
Yeah, exactly.
The hard bear claw. The point is
the bear claw is that I remember it's Angel Batista's pastry of choice from Dexter. Angel Batista.
Which relates to this episode.
Yes, it does relate to the episode, or else I would have brought it up. All right.
Anyway, so point is, this really emphasizes the kind of the contention between Bullock and Gordon. Really, the thing it's been building for 2 episodes now. They have different ways of doing things. Gordon's really wanted to be by the book and honest. Bullock, of course, he's kind of gotten used to the corrupt style and gotten to the point where he says, "Well, look, justice has been served here, so what do we need to get involved for? I'll be that Danish. I'm not getting anything for you because I forgot." No, I'm kidding. Anyway, so that gets emphasized a lot in this issue. Of course, it does.
Oh yeah.
Kind of relate to Gordon thinking Bullock's a little lazy for not really seeking closure. Most definitely. But getting to our next scene, we get the biggest a-hole cop on the planet, Lieutenant Cranston, which you know who that makes us think of. Just the name.
Of course. But honestly, his demeanor made me totally Jonah Jameson.
No, come on. Jameson.
No, because he appears right off the bat, and he's like, "God damn it, what the hell is going on? I need answers."
Where's O'Brien? I got to tell you, though, I do like the O'Brien bit. I mean, Samuel's this really corrupt Lieutenant Bill Cranston, I think his name is. Essentially, he's kind of the face of, at least for this episode, he's the face of corruption in Gotham. Because this guy. Essentially,
yeah.
And he's vulgar. He's a very deplorable man. I mean, you can tell he's the polar opposite of Jim Gordon. This guy, he's like he's like the hero cop of corrupt cops, essentially.
Yeah, he basically just puts Gordon down for wanting to stick by the books and not be corrupt. He's
like, get that tattooed. You get that tattooed in my posterior. So.
Like, what a jerk.
Yeah, I mean, and then basically, I'll admit though, the gag that I really liked was that basically he's looking for O'Brien, and then basically the guy hands him this an award he got for being a good cop, I guess, which really symbolically, just he won that. He got that for being a good cop in this city. What does that tell you?
Right.
Anyway, and he takes that for what he uses that for. He says, "That's O'Brien. He's the best interrogator in the business." Essentially, off-screen, you hear the screams of a poor man being interrogated and having the snot beaten out of him, just screaming bloody murder. So the idea that O'Brien is definitely getting answers out of this man, which is very depressing. Anyway, Gordon and Bullock, they're talking in the bullpen. They're real ethical debate on the case, basically why are we still investigating this. Essentially, then Gordon's really sticking in Bullock's crawl that, hey, listen, why don't we got to find closure on these cases, especially something like the Wayne case, because you and I both know it was a frame up.
And Bullock's whole philosophy is, these cases are closed. What don't you understand about the word closed?
I think that's my favorite Bullock line in this episode.
Yeah, and by the way, was this the first time we see Bullock in glasses? Because I thought he looked classy as hell in glasses.
No, he wore them in the pilot. His awesome entrance when he's reading the paper, he's wearing glasses.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, gotcha. I like him in the glasses.
Yeah, it looks good.
All right.
Anyway, so basically, that comes back a little in this episode. The point it really sticks in the crawl. Of course, the big underlining thing there, I think they're seeding in. Could be stretching, but I think they're seeding in that this Wayne case obviously is important. A lot's riding on the reason the Wayne case was closed. That they got the guy that pretty much brings up the frame up Penguin.
Oh,
He's the only one that really brought up to the press and the public essentially that this was not to the press and the public, but to get the ball rolling that this was a frame, but Mari Pepper did not kill the guy, and he had to be killed, quote unquote, because of that. That's the reason why Bullock had to almost kill Gordon on that pier, and that's the reason that Gordon's operating under this whole false thing that he assassinated Penguin. The point is, like, the minute Bullock finds that thing out, it's all over finding closure for a case. You see what I'm kind of saying there?
oh yeah, oh yeah.
So the point is, thematically, this does relate to places we are going, because it all hinges on finding the truth in this case, and basically Gordon's whole deception to Bullock. It will definitely play a factor into that. So again, a lot of lack of trust in morals here, essentially.
Yeah, really interesting sort of, the show really kind of excels at this, like, just just these two just going at it, having sort of, like, pseudo-philosophical, almost, debates about, like, morals and, and corruption and whatnot. Really good scene.
Bullock doesn't want to do... Bullock's gotten to the point where I think he's kind of lost the vigor for the job. The point is, I don't have to do anything unless I'm asked to do it. I don't have to investigate,
right.
really investigate
kind of
into a case.
He's really sort of just skating by at this point. Like, we've used the term before. He's sort of surviving just for survival's sake. He's corrupt for survival's sake.
It's like his idealism's been defeated. He's just...
Yeah.
His morals have been defeated,
right,
and this all the idealism's been defeated. And Gordon's kind of ushering that in. Anyway, so moving on, Selena Kyle, she's remanded into Gordon's custody by a man here, by trying to get a name on this guy. Lamond.
Okay.
Anyway, so Selena's remanded into Gordon's custody, so Gordon can ask her about the Wayne murder, basically get her out of going to the
And I love her little smirk. It's so subtle. Did you catch it?
Oh yeah. And I love how she's first to me it looked like she was reading over Bullock's stuff just to kind of get some answers and leverage.
I didn't even catch that. That's great.
And then Bullock's like telling her to scooch aside, and of course she steals his pen.
Oh yeah, right, the pen, yeah.
Which is brilliant, and I saw this coming too, by the way, I want to admit. She's going to use that pen later. Never give anyone a writing implement in the Batman universe. It always ends in trouble.
Oh God. Oh yes, that is very true.
Literally every writing implement is used for sinister purpose of some kind. Anyway, let's see.
So Selena's whole appearance makes Harvey all the more pissed about the closed cases thing.
Uh-huh.
But
meanwhile,
Jim is... Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was going to say, meanwhile, Kat and Jim, they're going to the crime scene, the Wayne crime scene.
Mm.
And basically, Gordon's rightfully skeptical that she may or may not be telling the truth, as we speculated in our previous episode. She could just be using this as an opportunity to get out of there and to escape.
Sure.
Or she actually did something.
I do love the moment, like right when Selena asks Gordon why she cares so much about the Wayne murders, and Gordon just has the line, "I made a promise to the boy."
Yeah, he says like it's the right thing to do, law and order, and basically
it's the right thing to do. Yeah, that was just such a Gordon. That to me was probably the most Jim Gordon I've seen Ben McKenzie yet in this series. Just that small little line right there. I don't know why. Just his delivery of "I made a promise to the boy." It's weird, but I just really resonated for me in that moment. But
anyway, so obviously Gordon rightfully skeptical. He needs some some evidence here. He wants to make sure that she's just not taking him for a ride here. Basically, she said she was up there. That's what everyone knows. Pretty much, she saw him pull the mask up over his face before he came down, which is the only way we could speculate that she could have seen the guy. And Gordon's a
Sure,
little
sure,
skeptical, so he
yeah.
wants some proof that she placed her at the scene.
Mm.
Anyway, so what she does is basically says, well, you know, I told you guys, well, and I love how Gordon's very thorough here, and basically says, yes, I checked that out already, that yes, you did muck a guy, and it was reported. But, you know,
But that
still,
still doesn't place you at the scene.
exactly. Still doesn't place you at the scene. So basically, she says, well, I dropped his wallet here, and he goes down a sewer, which was very misleading in the promo, by the way. I thought it was going to be a sewer chase.
Or I honestly thought we were going to get some sort of Croc King reference, if not. I didn't think we'd get an appearance, but I thought like maybe we'd see. I don't know. It's just sewer. You think Croc King? What can
Do
you
you mean
say?
Croc King?
What?
Are you saying Croc King?
Oh, I mean Killer Croc. I'm sorry. Wait.
I want to see that crossover.
Who's Croc King then?
There's Clock King and then there's Killer Croc.
Oh God. Oh. Hashtag Croc King. Let us know what you think.
Oh God. Their love child.
Oh no. Oh no.
Anyway, he's punctual as he's eating people.
Oh. Oh gee.
Anyway,
Wow.
so the point is that Gordon's
That
down
needs
there.
to be a thing now.
So Gordon's down there in the sewers, and he has a real Jim Gordon moment. He's down in the sewers, like, you know, putting his feet in the muck. And he's like, disgusting. Which, by the way, I gotta say, and I know you're gonna say symbolism, but the sewer is very symbolic. Again, what kind of Gordon's reaction to Gotham is. Think about it. Think what it says about the future. Gordon is gonna have to trench through the muck and filth underneath this corrupt city to really make a difference, and that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to make a difference. Get to find the Wayne killer. He's gonna have to go through all this muck and filth and mess to do so. He's getting his hands dirty to do the job. That's Jim Gordon to a T to me.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
But he'll do the right thing no matter how much
I won't even say symbolism because I think it's kind of subtle. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Like I say, literally going through the muck, I guess, is why it's symbolism. But anyway, so he finds the wallet. So basically, her story checks out. But unfortunately, as he handcuffed her to a rail, she uses that pen to pick the lock and escape. And she kindly hands him back his handcuffs down the sewer as she makes her escape. So unfortunately, Gordon should have listened to her. But it's too late. She might have actually known something. But anyway, she's out of there looking for an opportunity. But you can't blame her. She has to look for an opportunity before she can look for the truth.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Selena Kyle too. That's her survival instinct. Speaking of survival instincts, you know.
Yeah, and then that's all we see from her for the episode. So.
And hopefully she'll be back, which of course she'll be back.
Of course she will. I don't know.
I don't think it's gonna be for a few episodes though.
I'm getting a little worried because it's like we haven't seen Pepper and Ivy Pepper in a couple episodes. I don't know. We didn't see Nigma this episode, so.
Oh, but remember, Pepper's not a definite thing, so I'm sure she'll. I think she'll be back. There's nothing definite on her.
Oh, really? There isn't?
Well, I'm just saying, as far as like promotional materials goes, I haven't heard anything about her coming back or anything. But yeah, I'm saying her coming back. Anyway,
okay.
Anyway, so our next scene, we see Fish Mooney and Christmas Allen and Montoya visiting Fish Mooney to get some information about Oswald's apparent demise.
Mm-hmm.
Then, of course, Mooney instantly sells out Jim Gordon, basically saying he's the one that she hears rumors that Jim Gordon's the one that shot him. Basically, she points him in the direction of who could order something like that, Falcone. And essentially, I love how Alan's able to pick up on this. Alan at least knows how people work, and at least Alan's the one thinking here. Again, it really depresses me not to like. It's really depressing that I can't like Montoya in this show yet. It really depresses me.
No, you can't. This character is easily the worst thing in the entire show.
I know. She's the one that's been bringing me down in this show. I mean, at least Alan is giving it a shot. I mean, he's trying.
No, I like Alan.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that tooth-filled grin. He's lovable. He's cool. He's talking to Mrs. Kelp on that. Anyway. So the point is they direct him in the direction of Falcone. And of course, Alan's wise, saying, "You want Falcone out of there? Oh, me? And impossible." Point is, she's a lot of you praise, as we all have praised the Jada Pinkett Smith's portrayal of Fish Mooney. So let's not dwell on. She's awesome. Anyway, I love how she does sell their great transition here of saying. To find the killer of poor Oswald. And then we cut to the Penguin, killing for yet another sandwich.
Basically, yeah, yeah.
Which is hilarious, by the way. I'm sure Captain Logan's gonna laugh over that one.
I love the idea that now it's like instead of directly killing someone for the sandwich, he kills someone for the money to get a sandwich.
Yeah.
It's like he's moving on up in the world. It's like, oh man, oh now I can buy like 10 sandwiches. I bet the penguin's like just his whole goal this season is to just make a sandwich empire.
Well, he's starting at a restaurant, so that's a good direction to go in for that.
Yeah.
Breaking bread.
Jesse, they will be the best sandwiches, and I will not compromise on the quality of my product. Jesse.
Yeah, breaking bread.
Breaking bread. Okay.
So let's see. So the point is, a guy. What led us to that great sandwich kill was a guy, presumably a guy wise to the mob scene. He says, hey, first of all, he instantly recognizes it. It's a kind of a hole in Penguin's plan, saying, Penguin, people are probably going to recognize you. But at least he's prepared for it by procuring a knife for that case, I suppose.
Oh, yeah.
Once he says, hey, you're the Penguin, you're Cobblepot, and if Moody killed you, I'm going to get some reward or something to deliver you there. And Pointy's saying, and I like how Penguin, he's pleading, saying, oh, please, I'm important to this city. I'm the future of Gotham. If you're the future of Gotham, then Gotham...
There's a war coming.
Yeah.
There's going to be blood in the streets. People will riot.
Gotham needs me. I'm the future. Gotham rides on me. He says, well, in the future, then Gotham is worse off than we thought. then he essentially
pretty much true. Yeah.
Stabs him and kills him. So Penguin's really playing... You see how Penguin will try to plead, but then he's really dangerous in it. So that's some good stuff for Penguin in the future.
Of course.
Really, really shifty guy.
Yep.
Anyway, so meanwhile, back to our young future hero, Bruce Wayne. He's fencing with Alfred with canes.
Yeah, and finally we get a look into the Wayne Manor when Gordon's not around. I was waiting for this, and it didn't disappoint. I thought this was a wonderful scene. What do you think?
Oh yeah, it was a nice scene. Yeah, it's kind of classic. That's classic Batman. I wonder who initiated it. That's my question. I suppose Bruce did. They say I want to fence or sword fight. I want to train or something. Alfred probably subsidized that by saying, "Okay, let's do this. Let's fence."
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, it's Alfred sort of. He wants to channel Bruce's negative energy into something positive. That's his whole role in the series right now.
Because right now the kid's going to some dark place, drawing all the gothic imagery and listening to the heavy metal music and burning himself. So he's not in a good.
It's okay though, because he's going to make that. He's going to make the Batman song in the future in the Lego movie, so that'll all be worth it.
Anyway, so they had a really cool sword fight going at the end. Bruce Wayne's kind of determination kind of takes him through the victory on that. Which is a nice little homage there.
He kind of loses his crap for about a second when he's just like, I said enough! And then just slashes down on the folder.
Now, speaking of survival, you got a bit of that survival instinct in there for Bruce, which is definitely going to come in handy in the future.
Oh, yeah.
Now, think about it, kind of a survivor syndrome of sorts. He survived the parents, he's going to channel that and stuff.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And what do you think of Alfred in the scene? Do you I think this is probably the most warm we've seen Alfred.
I'll say this: Alfred in this episode is better than I think. At least for me, I think he's better than the other two episodes he's been in.
Yeah, I've liked this actor from the start. I think you're still kind of warming up to him.
Yeah, again, I respect the direction they're going. It's still they're winning me over, and this is a good direction. To step in that direction, though. He won me over here so far.
Yeah, because it's like when you think about it, with the first two episodes, Alfred is literally just as lost as Bruce is. I mean, he physically goes to, at least I hope, if the series continues to kind of go in this direction, is we're seeing Alfred sort of, I don't know, maybe gradually come to terms with what Bruce is dealing with, and maybe gradually sort of introducing him to the concepts that will be Batman. Like maybe Alfred knows about the Batcave. You know what I mean? And maybe at some point he'll be like, Master Bruce, if you're really going to, continue your training or whatever, you might need a bigger space. I don't know. A lot of people are speculating that. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But anyways.
It could be a cool idea if he finds that Batcave at some point in the series, in this season. And either, if not this season, the next season, maybe he starts like a little working crawl space in there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like it wouldn't be the Batcave that we all freaking the giant penny and the Batmobile and everything, but
Yeah.
you know,
Alright.
it'd essentially be its training space. I'm thinking.
Okay, well, back to the aftermath of the sword fight.
Yeah.
Alfred finds that Bruce has been studying intently his parents' case file with the gruesome pictures and all, and Alfred obviously would be worried about this. And Bruce basically says, he's first of all, Bruce says it wasn't hard to get, so I'm assuming like Bruce may have paid off so people get that case file.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe using the corruption. I don't know. He said it wasn't hard to get, so I'm speculating on that.
Yeah, one. Right. You're right. He did say that. That is kind of a interesting little throwaway line right there.
So the point is, like Alfred saying, "What? So are you a detective now?" Yeah, pretty much. Bruce.
Of course, when he said the word detective, fanboys the world over basically creamed themselves.
Yes. But, pretty much, Bruce is asking like a really good question. He's basically questioning where Gordon's chances here. Now, this is playing on to a thematic thing in the episode about Bruce kind of wondering the merit of law and order in this town. And maybe, again, just reading into this, maybe if he like paid someone off for the file, maybe that's also feeding into that too.
Uh-huh.
So the point is, Bruce is kind of questioning like the power of law and order because he knows Gordon's on the up and up, but still he's got to wonder like how strong one man is in this corrupt city as representing law and order.
If only Gordon would have draped his coat over him, that would have been the clincher right there. He would have been a true hero. All right, I'm sorry.
You stop stepping over my wonderful Nolan memories.
No, I will never stop. I'm just a dick like that.
Anyway, next scene. It's more depressing. This scene gets under my skin a lot.
Oh God.
Montoya and Alan stop by the.
This is basically like the point that you thought, like, oh, there's gonna be hope for this character, or it's gonna go in a bad direction.
Now, to be fair, there is a I'm sounding ridiculous. There's a very small window presented in this scene for my direction. Very small window.
Okay.
Small, and still it's missed completely, but still it's a small window. Okay, so the point. Let's talk about the negativity here. So anyway, Gordon he smells like a sewer, obviously, and the point is I love how Gordon starts and he's on the phone with Lamond, I assume, or someone. The point is he's talking to the child services guy, and he's saying, "Yeah, I lost her. Well, I can't give her back to you today because I lost her."
So, I'm not happy about it either.
That's a classic Gordon thing, because Gordon always gets asked to listen to some pencil pusher or something, and Gordon just doesn't want to deal with it. Classic Gordon stuff. Anyway, so then Montoya and Allen stop by, thinking they're the hot stuff they are.
Oh yeah. They are just walking by like. I mean, they might as well just have J.J. Abrams lens flares in back of them. They are hot shit.
Pretty much, they're saying that we know you're corrupt and we know you killed the Penguin. Question is, was it for Falcone or for someone else? And Gordon says, now this is important. Here's the little window I told you about. Now I like how Gordon says, and I think it's mostly delivery here. He's basically saying, I didn't do that. And here's
I didn't do it.
That's the window. Basically, him saying, see, that was, for a moment, I had my hopes of saying, oh, so he's like giving a messaging code, basically, I did not do this, look closer. But then, they're not getting it, though. That's.
I think, if anything, like, Alan might come around before Montoya does, but of course, when we get to the scenes with Montoya and Barbara, which are even worse than this, Montoya is not going to let up on Gordon.
Why is it the most likable female character in this show is Fish Mooney?
Right? Holy shit! Absolutely, by a freaking country mile.
I mean, Barbara's okay, but she's not spectacular.
And Fish Mooney's probably gonna get killed off, like, probably halfway through the season or something.
But to be fair, we don't. All we know is she's most likely gonna die. We don't know that in concrete, just to be fair. So.
I don't know.
There's a slim chance she might be going to jail, but I'm assuming death.
We don't know what the writers are thinking, but I know storytelling, and they've made it blatantly obvious that the Penguin is going to kill Fish Mooney.
All we know.
I mean, her name is Fish, BlueDragonFive. Yes, her name is Fish.
I'm saying yes. My point is like he wants to stab her, so I'm saying it's looking more death in her direction. They've
Okay.
established
Okay.
that he wants to stab her.
Right. Right.
Anyway, so the point is Montoya now basically say, we thought we'd give you the opportunity to tell us the truth, tell us what you know. Now, of course, me thinking in my little window, thinking, okay, well, Gordon, let him in on the secret, bring him in, okay?
Right. Right.
But no, it's ridiculous. Here's the thing that really makes me outraged at this scene. The reason I'm still really harsh on Montoya, and it makes me sad to say that. Here's the big thing I'm saying to him here. I'm yelling at these guys for. Have some evidence before you confront him.
Yeah, exactly.
Something
it's
solid.
literally like Fish Mooney is just like, oh, I heard through the grapevine that James Gordon pulled the trigger.
Because first of all, you know that she's trying to get rid of Falcone. So as far as you're concerned, she's saying anything just to steer in direction of Falcone.
Right.
Secondly, again, if you're going to confront a guy, this is like classic 101. A lot of shows kind of get this thing wrong, which usually you kind of forgive it for, but still. Don't tell a guy you're after him without evidence or something over him. Or else, A, he's going to find a way to avoid that, or try to avoid that. Or B, you're just an idiot standing there telling him stuff that you can't do anything about.
I feel like there's a Breaking Bad Tread Lightly reference in here somewhere.
Yeah, there's kind of
okay.
Bit of a tread lightly. The point is, it's such a missed opportunity not to get these guys on board with Gordon yet.
Well, it's only 3 episodes in. Maybe they're thinking it'll be like a You know what? Like, there's a lot of shows where they'll do this, where it's like there'll be one character where it's like, oh, she's, we're reviewing Once Upon a Time, so maybe Montoya will turn out to be like a Regina, where it's like, oh, she's evil this season, but then she kind of flips around next season.
Yeah, but the big issue with Montoya is still she's not likable at all yet. Literally, she comes the first scene these two guys have, aside from some Christmas Allen charm, is her being an unpleasant woman.
Basically.
I'm saying she has not had like a moment of we don't see her being a good cop, we just see him trying to steal a case.
Yeah, right.
We're just taking the word from Bullock that, okay, these guys think they're good cops, or basically they're all high and mighty. That's what we get in terms of their background of seeing them in action.
Right.
That's all. So I'm not one. I need something to win me over to like these guys before I'm gonna like feel for the struggle here of like Gordon can't tell them or something, or basically there's still this miscommunication going on because I can't get invested in our MCU guys. MCU guys.
There's a lot more to talk about in terms of the Montoya character when we get to the Barbara scene, so why don't we just put it in it for now?
Right. The point is Montoya is just she's killing me. She's killing the show.
You're tearing me apart, Montoya!
Hopefully they will pick up on Gordon's clue soon, and I pray to God soon, because my window's still there. It's just the question is how long it's going to take. My window most likely will happen at some point. Just the question is...
Yeah, I hear you.
That's basically my window is them getting over all this crap sooner than later.
Right.
Anyway, okay. Next we see a Penguin. Penguin's need for shoes for a restaurant job.
Oh, this is so creepy. This might be one of the creepiest Penguin moments of the whole series.
Not yet. He sees the guy, and then we get to our next scene. Pretty much.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Pretty much, Bullock and Gordon again, just kind of going at the same issue again. Point is a need for results. Essentially, at the same issue, pretty much saying we need to investigate this. Need to investigate this case. Pretty much saying that Montoya again, he's kind of playing to the strength of okay, Bullock still thinks I killed Penguin, so we're still corrupt buddies right now.
Right.
So essentially, he's saying Montoya and Allen are on to me, basically saying, that won't hold up. Pretty much the case is closed. No one cares about it. Pretty much saying, well, people should care about it. Essentially, he's saying that, like, this would be all over if we just found out who the Wayne killer was. You'd help me out on that, pretty much. No, because Gordon is pretty much investigating this Wayne thing alone, because only he and Bullock know that the guys are still out there. Well, also I guess MCU, which is doing nothing about it, by the way.
Of course not. No.
Yeah, because I know Marty Pepper was...
Montoya's whole character is just like, hey, I'm going to discredit Jim Gordon. Yeah.
Yeah, because again, guys, what can make you look a lot better is if, you found the actual killer and made them look bad.
Right, right.
Isn't that what you want? You want to make GCPD look bad by taking them their only supposedly good cop. Well, why don't you make them look bad by doing their job? Well, that helps everybody.
Oh, that's too much logic, Blue
You
Dragon 5.
wanted the case in the first episode, don't want it anymore though. Boo hoo. Anyway, so
I
then we
don't
get
think
to
Montoya deals with logic.
Montoya. Anyway, so Penguin goes shoe shopping in the meantime.
Oh yes. Oh god.
Shoe shopping, I mean stabby time. He has it. Well, we don't see it, but he basically says it's so creepy. Walk us
It's
through
so
what
creepy. It's so freaking awkward. It's just like he walks up to a guy and he's just like, "Hey, you work at that Italian restaurant, right?" And, the guy's cool about it first. He's like, "Yeah, sure, man." And then Penguin just out of nowhere, he's like, "Hey, what size are your shoes?" And then at that point, the guy gets like really sketched out and just like, "I don't
9.
know, 9." And then this
what a
moment,
coincidence!
the what a coincidence thing is just like, his nervous laugh. He's just like, what a coincidence!
He gives a laugh and then he gives a smile, and oh boy, we know what happens.
Oh god.
Anyways, let's see. Meanwhile, okay, so now Gordon and Bullock they talk to a balloon sales. They talk to the balloon salesman of the guy selling those type of balloons, weather balloons. And essentially, he reveals, okay, he's not the guy, because obviously we know he's not the guy. Just look at him. He's an older man. I'm not saying he's Carl Ferguson, but he's definitely an older man.
He does kind of look like Carl Ferguson.
I don't think Carl Ferguson would ever live in Gotham. And essentially, he reveals that he's out $4,000 because 4 of his weather balloons were stolen, which is a big clue. Okay, the guy, whoever this guy is, he's got 4 opportunities for kidnapping, I suppose. So apparently, there's another issue I have with the episode. We'll get to it. Anyway, meanwhile, our victim number 2 appears. Lieutenant Cranston's shaking down a drug dealer, and really nasty guy. And essentially, he's the victim of the Balloon Man. But in Cranston's defense, he does put up a fight against the guy, at least.
He does. Yeah.
The one guy you don't want to put up a fight. I like the tease that he was about to unmask him. Then it was too late, and he got lifted by the ankles all the way up.
I almost felt like that whole scene was just a little bit cliche, like, oh, if you would have just gotten out of there, you would have gone out, and been alive. But no, you had to unmask him, but it's fine.
Well, no, he was going to arrest him, if anything, so regardless, he was going to be dead.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, so meanwhile, here's a great Alfred Bruce bit here. We're back in Wayne Manor, and we see Bruce is getting into the habit of not eating.
Oh, yeah.
Now, whether this is a test of... for me, I just think he's just being really focused, and because when he says no, I just assume he's telling the truth there, because Alfred just says, what is this, a test of some kind, to see how long we go without eating? Not wise. So again, Alfred's doing kind of classic Alfred stuff. He's kind of questioning the motives behind a lot of Bruce's things here.
Sure. And this scene brings us back classic supper making Alfred.
Yes, and we get the classic, we get some classic Alfred sarcasm. We're not sarcasm, but wit, basically saying, if you're not going to eat the food, I should probably stop making it.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. And again, I think Bruce is just really focused on his becoming Batman. Essentially,
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, at this point, do you even think that Batman is in his head? I think it's just like it's basically that drawing at this point. You know what I mean? Like the drawing that he did in is pretty much his internal thought process visualized.
Yes. Well, I don't know. I figure it was just like faceless, obviously not Batman, but just kind of like himself is doing something. He's looking for purpose, I guess, and learning to do something. He doesn't know exactly what yet, but he wants to do something to find his parents' killer. I guess he's reading up on methods to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess right now he's just training for something he doesn't know how he's going to help Gotham, but he's training to do that in some form. And in my mind, I always think of he's like like an unidentifiable Batman in his mind, essentially.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, so then he brings up to Alfred that he's distressed by this Balloon Man crime. No, he shows in the paper. Says this balloon man. It basically says, what's his deal? Basically stringing up people and like letting them float away. Real sick guy.
Yeah, and is this where we get the whole thing about? No, it's later in the episode, right? That we get the thing about the killing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Where the killing rule comes into play.
Yes, yes. Oh, big time. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so the point is, oh yeah, no, I guess it's important. He brings up that the way he's doing, he's stringing people up and letting them fly away, which is a real gruesome way to, basically saying it's a gruesome way to kill people instead of the regular methods.
You want me to be honest? I honestly think if I were to die, this would kind of be a fun way to die.
What?
Just
No.
because just roller coaster junkie. So if I'm gonna go out, then like going like soaring all the way up, I don't know. It sounds kind of appealing to me.
Dave, bear in mind, you're going to be up there. Apparently these type of balloons, they can last for days. You'd be freezing to death for days.
Oh jeez. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not.
Then you'd experience the other half of the rush, but you'd be either freezing to death or being electrocuted or hit by a plane. God knows what.
Right. Okay, I take that back. I don't wish to be hoisted up by a weather balloon anymore.
Anyway, one of my favorite little bits in this episode. This is like for the fan service of Gordon and me. Jim Gordon's suit up scene. I was so happy. It's so silly, but I was so happy. It's like if we don't have Batman suiting up, we gotta have someone suiting up. It's gonna be Gordon, and I was happy. If only he put on a trench coat.
Oh,
but he hasn't earned it. He hasn't earned it yet. Anyway, so Gordon's suiting up. Babs mentions that she's got a meeting, which again raises the question: like, what is her occupation? They still haven't told us.
Yeah, they're really going a long way to sort of like cast some shade on her, cast some mystery.
Yeah,
but I like it.
I don't mind. I can't wait if we get a little bit of a straight answer as to what she does, but hopefully I'll get to it soon. But
yeah, but then we see, I don't know, the one thing I actually appreciated about the stuff we got between Barbara and Montoya, and there's a lot to bitch about with that scene, but I did appreciate the fact that we got a whole other side of Barbara, the whole drug thing. So, I don't know, I'm kind of enjoying, but I'm just saying I'm kind of enjoying seeing, like, because up until this point, Barbara seemed like such a clean-cut character, and then you got that. But yeah, we'll get to that. Okay,
anyway, so we see they're in a really nice clock tower apartment, so that is definitely the clock tower that...
it's so cool.
And eventually it's going to be Barbara's workspace, Barbara Gordon, their daughter. Workspace in the future. That's kind of a neat concept. It's a really nice apartment.
I apartment, yeah, for sure. Oh my god.
Anyway, so now this is a really great line. There's some really good lines in this episode. Really hit home for Gordon. Again, thematically, really tie into Gordon's thing here. This is an important statement. He says in this scene to Barbara, talking about the case, he says, "Everyone has to matter, or no one matters. Without that, people lose faith, and that gives us vigilantes." Really important line. You know why?
Well, of course, because Batman's going to be a vigilante, so...
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's going to... Essentially, we're getting Gordon's position on vigilantes in this episode, and how he feels about it. And this whole experience is just like another thing to chalk up to a reason why he's really wary of Batman in the beginning, or like why to trust this guy, because vigilantes can be dangerous, or basically kind of resulting from a really, really corrupt system or society. He just represents everything... Essentially, vigilante to Gordon represents his failure, which is a really interesting way to go about it in this episode.
Yeah.
So again, really thematically, they're really going for a lot of civil vigilantism here, and how Gordon eventually will be working with the vigilantes, showing how far he's come or he's going to come. Again, the point is that Gordon thinking everyone has to matter, because the point is that him and Bullock, if they haven't talked about it yet precisely. They're going to basically mentioning how why does it matter that a cop that when a cop dies, then it's important, but when a regular guy, like a regular corrupt guy, dies, why no one really cares. The point is everyone has to matter. We can't just look into cases because it relates to like something personal or a vendetta, or because someone in particular was was involved. You know, we gotta care about everyone here, and that's why vigilantes come about, because someone in society is being neglected, so that someone also from that society is going to rise up.
Yeah, exactly.
So good stuff they're seeing in there, definitely. Anyway, so Babs also mentions this is also really good acting on Ben McKenzie without saying any words.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, this is heartbreaking.
Yeah, this is it was Babs mentioning, basically saying, you know, there is hope. You know, you haven't failed. You know, there's still hope. You know, you solving the Wayne murder was a huge
case. You solved the Wayne murder.
Yeah, that was a big thing for Gotham. And pretty much you get to see the guilt in Jim's eyes.
Oh yeah.
Just hearing that line must kill him on the inside. I did not solve that. I didn't solve my first case yet. I didn't solve. I didn't solve the case. I haven't brought that boy any justice. And you know, these vigilantes might not. These vigilantes are doing my job better than I am right now. I'm not getting any results. Anyway, so we have a really nice homage. It's real subtle. I don't know how subtle, but it's a really nice reference to The Dark Knight Returns in the transitions to the next scene.
Is it?
Oh yeah, basically the people on the news, they're like talking about like how they're saying they're commending the vigilante. And the last one, here's the line from The Dark Knight Returns, basically saying, "Oh yeah, this vigilante is alright. He should go after my landlord next." Pretty much, that's exactly from The Dark Knight Returns, except it goes ranges from a little more offensive, but yeah.
Right, yeah.
Okay, meanwhile, of course, when the press gets involved, Essen gets riled, and again, it makes me think less and less of her and Gordon getting together. Essen wants results.
I do like her character, though. I mean, I have no point of reference for what she was like in the comic books, but just coming into this blind, I really like the whole feisty police chief angle they're going with her.
Yeah. And I gotta tell you, I think you're gonna still need to... I don't know, still need to spice her up for me a little, you know? Like, right now she's kind of in that LaGuerta category. I'm hoping she can get out of that, you know?
I think she's a step above LaGuerta.
No,
I definitely agree
much.
that she fills the same sort of role as LaGuerta does, but...
I mean, she's
three episodes in, she's more compelling.
Yeah, she's a step above that, but still, you need a little bit more. It's because they made her corrupt that makes me a little more... I need to be convinced a little more, you know?
Right.
A little more. She needs to be spiced, a little more distinct, is what I'm saying. That's all.
Okay, fair enough.
Right now, it's just pretty much she doesn't like the press, and we got a lot of, commissioners and captains. They don't want the press. They don't want all the pressure, undue pressure. Well, let me see you actually deal with that pressure. Let's do a press conference. Do something. Come on, lady.
Yeah.
You go out in the field once in a while. Yeah.
All right.
Anyway. So again, Essen wants results, and when that happens, Bullock gets out of his chair. And Bullock, Bullock always looking for the easy solution. Looking for the easy solution, trying to say, well, why do we need to get involved? The guy killed the other one, but then he finds out the cop's been killed, and now they gotta investigate. So they're going after a guy called Carl Smickers.
Mm-hmm. And this is a montage, right?
Yes, we had Bullock's awesome search montage.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It really is.
Oh, before that, though, one quick thing.
Yeah.
I think they established the killer's MO before that. Basically, he's targeting corrupt people, which pretty much they point out pretty much everyone in the city.
Right.
Anyway, so then we get Bullock's awesome search montage, and also I think before the scene he basically mentions to Gordon that we're investigating because the cop was killed. When a cop gets killed, you got to solve the case. Pretty much.
For sure.
Anyway, so moving on. So Bullock's awesome montage. Take us through the montage.
Oh, I love it. I really love it. This is probably by far my favorite scene of this episode. So essentially what Bullock's doing, he's just doing all this corrupt stuff. He's beating the crap out of people. He's
flirting with prostitutes.
Flirting it up with prostitutes like there's no tomorrow.
And he's getting a little lunch, which Gordon says, well,
and he's getting a little lunch, and he doesn't buy anything for Gordon.
Well, not just that. That would have been hilarious if they called that back, though, but they didn't. what they did, they says, well, did you find out anything? Oh, no, I was just hungry.
I mean, I love Ben McKenzie's facial expressions in this scene. He's just standing off, and he's just like...
Yeah. Now, there's actually that might actually is him looking on the Bullock right there in this sequence. That might be a reference to year one because in year one there are some scenes where pretty much Jim Gordon, the new Gotham, he's paired up with kind of his fill-in for Bullock in this series, I suppose. Flash, remember Flash from Batman Begins?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
The cop
yeah.
Batman interrogates upside down. You know, swear to me, that guy.
Uh-huh.
Essentially, essentially in the comics he was a fitter guy, and he was the face of corruption in that book pretty much, and he was a really scumbag partner, and Gordon would examine him really disgusted by him saying, I'm going to take this guy out, I need to study his moves. That's in the comic, but like he's beating people up and he's like taking advantage, he's taking bribes, he's a real scumbag. Flash. Anyway, so it might be a reference to just Gordon looking on to Bullock's methods here with disgust. Anyway, so meanwhile, we get Penguin ushering into his new job at a restaurant, but not just any restaurant, a mob restaurant, not just any mob restaurant, Maroni's restaurant, because Sal Maroni in the comics owns a restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
And essentially, in this moment, I love how the ending line here basically saying, opportunity. There'll be a great opportunity working here, and then Sal Maroni walks in, and opportunity literally knocks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Basically, the guy tells him you don't see anything, you don't know nothing, you're here to wash dishes.
And he basically threatens him with his life. He's like,
yes.
And if you don't do that, you're going to get...
You'll fire me? That's one way you could say
it.
Anyway,
okay, so
we get another awesome Bullock scene.
Oh, you don't want to talk Maroni right now?
We'll get to him after. He's not there yet. We see him walk in. Anyway,
well, yeah, he walks in. Yeah, so
we get an awesome Bullock scene. Bullock and Gordon, they happen upon the Smickers apartment,
mm-hmm.
and a muscle bound. Apparently, the question really is she on venom or not? Probably not. Right. It'd be funny if she was.
Oh my god.
Again, those pills might come.
Pills? Yeah.
We don't know for certain, but maybe the pills either drive you crazy or those pills are still a MacGuffin of some sort, I suppose. I'm probably using that wrong, but I'm just going to say MacGuffin. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, I love just the instant Gothamite reaction. Opens the door, sees it's cops saying, we're with the GCP, we're here looking for this guy. She tries to slam the door shut. Gordon pursues the suspect while Bullock, and this is hilarious, Bullock deals with the muscle-bound girlfriend. And she's winning the fight, throwing Bullock around a little, breaking things, and after Gordon handcuffs the guy, she's about to hit Bullock with the TV. I love how Bullock has almost a Muppety delivery of his lines, saying, Jim! A little help here. Pretty much like Kermit the Frog. Just yelling for Gordon's assistance, and Gordon draws the gun on it. And she just throws the TV down. Just place it down. She just throws it on the table. Oh, Bullock was hilarious. Funny stuff. Anyway, so we're back with Fish Mooney in our next scene here, and basically she's Mooney. On a whim, she's talking to Laszlo, and Laszlo's worried about. You remember Laszlo, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Laszlo, her beau, pretty much. She's worrying about her boy toy, worrying about Falcone going after her because she's threatening to take him down, and pretty much says, "Oh, you don't have anything to worry about." That another muscle-bound guy comes by and pretty much says, "Listen, make Falcone's girlfriend have an accident right now, and also, hey, kill Laszlo, would you?" Which is pretty funny.
Oh, that's dark. He's bringing down the mood.
Guy with a broken arm in there because of you, and he cares about you very deeply, and basically you just say, "Hey, by the way, I can't thought like on a whim. Huh? Oh, by the way, kill that. It's bringing down the mood." Yeah. Pretty funny.
Oh man. Yeah, really dark. Really dark.
Then we get the buzzkill of the episode.
Oh boy.
Back to Barbara.
Okay, how do you want to approach this?
Well, she looks nice, Barbara, you know.
Oh god.
I don't know where to start here. Okay, well, I guess we start with Montoya's just illegally entered her apartment.
Yeah, just whatever. Just he just wanders on in. You know what? You know what I hate the most about Montoya in the scene? The way she's like trying to pass this whole thing off like it's no big deal. Like it's just like, oh, whatever. I just broke in. It's cool. It's cool.
Alright, so essentially, as you can all predict, probably, she's just essentially bashing Gordon, saying he's corrupt, Barbara. Why don't you see this?
I mean, she doesn't even do any foreplay with it, as Fish Moody would say. She just cuts right to the chase, like, Jim Gordon is an awful man, you need to be away from him, blah, 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 he killed someone, he killed another person,
And they do officially make the statement here, a little overtly, but, they had to do it at some points. I'm not mad at them for that. I pretty much, confirming that, that they are definitely going the version of Montoya being lesbian as she is in the comics, and apparently Barbara's a former long-time, I assume, girlfriend.
Yeah, a long time, because it's definitely...
Well, she has a key. I shouldn't say illegal. I don't know, I guess technically it's legal, but really, she just barged in. And also, we should address kind of Barbara's drug usage. She's using marijuana, which apparently it was one of the many drugs she used according to Montoya.
You can't just get arrested for smoking marijuana. It doesn't... You can get arrested for possession of marijuana, and I'm talking like ounces and pounds of marijuana, but you can't get arrested for just... That's ludicrous. So the fact that Montoya is even like, oh, well, what about you? You're smoking pot. I can arrest you. Ooh.
Oh, I mean, you gotta assume she owns a little more. Oh yeah, I guess you assume she has a little more. Maybe she searched the place before. I don't know.
I don't know.
But anyway, that's the least. The point is, she makes the statement that that is just one of many drugs she's used in the past. Basically saying she has a drug problem, I assume, is what she's getting at. Like Jesse Pinkman. Jesse Pinkman, he used marijuana, but he used other stuff too,
Sure, yeah.
Heroin, cocaine, meth. He's a connoisseur of harmful drug products. Anyway, so the point is, I got to tell you though, I'm not knocking her using marijuana exactly. For me, it's just I would never expect that behavior from Barbara Gordon, but they are going somewhere with it in their defense that she had a drug problem in her past, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're still going to sell me on a good story for that, but we'll see. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that. But the point is, I do agree with you, Tiki. The idea she has secrets in her past, most definitely. In addition to the relationship between her and Montoya, it is kind of interesting.
Sure. Yeah.
Way to go. Because again, her father may be involved in some shady stuff for all we know, so we'll see about that. But the point is, the big problem here is Montoya. She's coming in there basically. You remember the good times? Remember looking? I gotta tell you though, I get just naturally work again, kind of the lesbian stuff, but still they're a little on the nose of it. Looking into your eyes, stuff like that, and then the kiss, which I'm not saying you can't have that on air or anything. I'm just saying he's a little on the nose to you. I think the content in the speech gave.
I absolutely don't have the problem with the lesbian context about the whole thing. I absolutely don't. My whole problem is that Montoya is just being possessive.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Possessive and just kind of whiny about the whole situation.
She is. Again, I hate the fact I have to hate Montoya in this show. And you've seen her at some of her finest. You saw her. You saw the birth of Montoya. Now you're seeing the decline.
Now I'm seeing the death of Montoya. Yeah.
Yes, and it's just here's the thing that really gets me. She's first of all in the pilot. She's learned nothing from the pilot. The pilot, she literally the scene after the scene ends. Gordon yells at her on the staircase, and then she apologizes to Gordon, saying, "I shouldn't." Basically saying, "I admit I shouldn't
have been there.
I shouldn't have. I've told her about the case, right? I shouldn't have told her. And I realized that. No, you didn't apparently, because you're doing the same exact thing this time. Literally the same thing, saying Gordon's a bad man for the same crime." And again, she's even being vague on it. So at least if you're gonna try to sway her, if you're gonna try to change her mind, at least give her more context. For crying out loud, he killed Oswald Cobblepot. No?
Right.
Yes, he's corrupt. He's bad. I'm not going to involve you, but I'm still going to involve you anyway. It's ridiculous. Anyway, the real big overall problem in this scene is she's harsh on Gordon just purely out of jealousy. Let's face it, it's
Oh
out of
yeah. Oh,
jealousy.
absolutely, absolutely. There is no other character trait that's been established so far
See,
except.
Montoya, if you actually care for her, you would, I don't know, found the claim, prove to her that the guy is bad. I don't know. At least give
Right, and
him
not just
context
like
for a
literally
grilling.
barging into your apartment and just like trying to get something going, literally trying to kiss her. It's just like, I don't know.
I mean, you're not even friends anymore. It would seem like you two even you don't really talk, and she barges in. That doesn't even be a good friendship at all, or any past relationship, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah?
it's.
I don't know. Just that.
Just the fact that they're doing this to the Montoya character when the Montoya character in herself is a very cutting edge character in comic book history for, you know, and she played a really good, strong lesbian character in most of her run. And now she's just playing like the terrible, like the worst lesbian stereotypes.
Yeah, you're making her a stupid cop overall. That's the worst offense, is that you're making her incompetent, which is an insult. Anyway,
Exactly. Yeah.
hopefully they'll get her on board at some point soon, really soon, I hope. But next scene, we find out in the interrogation room that Carl has stolen the Smickers guy. Got the muscle-bound girlfriend. Carl stole the balloons to pay the mob. And now this scene, I have another problem. This is my other mini rant. How in the heck does no one figure in the GCP app? No one figure
the balloon physics.
Yes, I mean even me. Look, even without
my whole thing was how in the heck didn't you write Riddler to do this scene? Because that would have been the perfect place for Enigma to pop up.
Well, I'll give you that. It would have been great if dude just popped his head. Well, you guys, riddle me this. What happens when a child lets go of a balloon? Something as simple as that. We all know this story. You let go of the balloon, eventually it's going to pop because a balloon. They're operating under the assumption these guys are going to be still alive in the air.
They're basically just operating on the assumption that they're going to starve to death in the air over a series of weeks.
Or I guess die from a lack of oxygen or something. I don't know.
In which case, couldn't they technically send like rescue helicopters or rescue planes for them? You would think that would be an option.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how that kind of stuff works, but you would think.
Even if they're dead, looking for the body or something. Looking for a floating corpse. Anyway, so it still baffles me. Like me, I assumed it was going to happen a lot faster, but I guess the weather balloon physics are like they would be floating for longer because they're different.
Weather balloons float for a couple days, so.
That makes sense, I guess. But the point is, like, how did they not? Because Bullock's saying, "Oh wait, what happens?"
No, Bullock is like, tell me what happens or I'll beat it out of you. I'm like, that is the most unnecessary Bullock threat of the whole series.
Bullock, I mean, there's some common, like, child physics. I mean, they show this perfectly to a T and up. Helium goes out of a balloon within 3 days. That's an up. And brave little toaster, it's just they go up in space. Regardless, not an ideal option.
Right.
Anyway, so I do like Bullock's line coming into the next scene, though. Basically, first of all, it's a really dark way we get into the next scene. Pretty much one of the bodies pops, and one of the balloons pops, and the body comes tumbling down and kills an old woman, which is really sad.
Yeah.
Says, why didn't that woman get out of the way? You see a body coming at you, you move, lady. Okay, Harold, like, go with the dog. The dog's trying to pull you out of danger. What's wrong with you? Then she's like, oh, dear.
Oh, no. Oh, the balloon is slowly coming towards me.
Anyway.
Oh,
no. However, I do like Bullock's line basically, I'm really starting to dislike this case.
Yeah.
But then he makes a really harsh joke saying, hey, did you know that you make shovels that big, huh? He like nudges. It's like cop talk when you make fun of the dead body. It's a common cop thing from what I hear.
Sure.
Or definitely TV cop, I think. Definitely TV cop. However, I do think in real life CSIs have a sense of humor. So they try to have a sense of humor.
I'd imagine so.
Anyway, so Gordon, they find a clue. It's the lieutenant's body, the first one dropped, and also lieutenant's body's first one dropped, and also they announced like a cardinal's. The next target's a priest.
Mm.
So I guess we don't find that out yet, but the point is they're waiting for the next body, which no, they got recognition as a priest. Okay, they just haven't found the body yet. Yeah, it's a priest.
Right, yeah.
And also, Bullock has a line basically saying, yeah, they know the guy's, well, pardon my language here, diddling children. His words, mind you, his words. So, and they knew that they can't touch a guy because he's religious. Again, it shows you the corruption now. We can't touch this guy because he's a religious figure.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
However, I think that one's a little sadder truth to life. I don't know how the legal system works for a priest or not. But,
yeah, I don't. It's kind of a gray area. I don't know.
Because priests could, for all we know, priests could be the worst murderers in history. we can never prove it.
There could just be like a Dexter priest out there somewhere just killing off everyone.
Oh, Dexter season 6, but.
Oh God, that's right. Oh no. That was after I
Anyway.
stopped watching. So.
Anyway, so Gordon, this is a really clever scene. I like this, and this really holds up better on the rewatch. I got to tell you. So Bullock finds a piece of paper with Gordon's name on it. Says, Jim, what's your name doing on this piece of paper? And he looks at it and says, I know who the Balloon Man Killer is. Now, I didn't pick this up until the second. So, because at first I think, wait, what? How would this guy be Gordon? Is Gordon the next target?
It because I was kind of I'm kind of sketchy on
Well, this is very clever. Now, you remember I kept mentioning that guy was called Lamond, right?
Sure.
Now, the child services guy is our guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
right.
at first I thought, wait, Gordon's the next target. Then they obviously cleared that up that he's not the next target. But so apparently Lamond, the guy from the very beginning, the guy who works with the juvenile centers.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So yeah, he's the Balloon Man, and that was a really clever way to do it. It's like a perfect red herring. The guy's only there. He's only there for one scene at the very beginning. If you don't pay attention, you miss it, which you and I both did. Essentially, he's like there for literally. You don't really get a good look at the guy. He just hands Gordon a piece of paper, signs consent, and runs off. That's it.
Right. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. There's hope for this show yet, barring Montoya. Okay. Okay. Then we get another scene with. Oh no, actually, yeah, we get back with our great scene in the Maroney restaurant with introductions. Sal Maroney, played by the wonderful David Zayas.
Can we just call him Angel Batista?
We're calling him Sal Maroney. We can, instead of calling him the actor, we'll call him Angel, if it'll make you feel better.
I just want to call the freaking character Angel Batista.
He's Maroney. Live with it. Anyway, so
But Maria, we're having marital problems, Maria.
Okay, in his defense, in this episode, he's a lot better than he's.
Without a doubt.
But seriously, I really love this performance of Maroney. I mean, aside from being a little thicker than Maroney usually is, he's the dead ringer for the comics Maroney in terms of look. And he really sold me. He's a classic. He feels like a kind of a classic Italian mobster. And the real delineation between him and Falcone with this is that Maroney's more of a family business type guy. Again, he has a restaurant, so he's all about like the family business, respecting the guy with the Italian guy with the mother, essentially.
Right.
Yeah, Falcone's like the business side of kind of the Italian mob, I guess.
Yeah, he's essentially got like got a Bob Hoskins feel to his performance. I kind of felt like. What do you think of that?
A little.
Yeah, I don't know. I
like,
really liked it though.
I get like kind of like a Sonny vibe off of like Sonny Corleone vibe off of Maroney.
Okay.
Bit of a Sonny mix with the Vito, bit of those, but I don't know. What is it, Maroney? I really like Maroney. I can't wait to see more of this guy because he was cool. He's a guy who respects family and essentially he takes the Penguin under his wing, which I like. And before that though, the way that gets these two guys to reunite is to meet, I should say. So Maroney mentions to one of those guys we're going after. Essentially, they're going after Falcone. They're taking the Arkham They're taking Arkham away from.
Oh yeah.
Which essentially now we don't know exactly. We're going to be revealed on this next episode. The next episode is called Arkham. My presumption is that it's a territory like the mob's using Arkham, like Batman Begins to do their operations in.
Yeah, that would make sense. Right?
That's because now it's been close to 15 years. And the main reason they're taking Arkham is that all they say is they're taking Arkham basically to show that the Emperor has no clothes, which translates to the show Falcone has no power. Now, what I think there might be implicated there is maybe if there are any crazy residents left there, they want to unleash them, which could symbolically mean for the series, I guess, that the mob. Eventually, the mob is gonna at least dissipate severely, and then the crazies are gonna take over, which may be Maroni unleashing the floodgates to the crazies on Gotham,
Okay.
perhaps.
Okay. I
Which
can see
also,
it, yeah.
and this I'm probably using the word symbolically wrong here, but in terms of symbolically, he's the guy that in the comics, he's the guy that splashes the acid on Two-Face's face, so he released one of the big
Sure.
crazies too.
Sure,
So it's kind
sure.
of interesting that he'd be the one to do this. Anyway, so Penguin overhears this, and they take notice. Like, who are you? You're new here, aren't you? So, what's your name? And Penguin's fake name is Paulo.
Mhm.
And basically, says, an Italian boy. Basically, Italian boy loves his mother. Okay. Takes him under his wing. Pretty much,
Gives
he
him a
says,
little bit of a cash handout.
yeah, it's really. I love that. I love Maroni so far. Pretty much, he pretty much mentions, he started from nothing, much like Paulo, which does relate to Penguin actually, and working his way up.
Oh yeah, sure.
And so
sure.
it's kind of like it is a mentorship of some kind, but like he doesn't know who the guy really is yet. And basically, also here's the important line. He says Gotham is the city of opportunity, essentially.
Oh
Which
yeah.
is very true. Again, really much relates to what Penguin wants to do here, and ties into what I think they're going for. This kind of the Snyder philosophy of Gotham's a make or break city. You'll be stronger if you can make it here, or dead if you can't.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And again, he's very family and value oriented, which I think is the reason, real big delineation between him and Falcone or Falcone. So yeah, Maroni, he's really winning me over here. I'm interested to see those two guys come to a head.
And it's always fun to have an actor that you didn't really take seriously before in a role like this.
Mm.
Like Breaking Bad, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't see any of Angel Batista in this guy when he was this character, did you?
No, absolutely not. And that's the thing. It's like me and my one of my former girlfriends and I, we literally started up a Facebook page called Angel Batista Sucks. So that we had running jokes about how useless Angel Batista was on Dexter. I'm sorry for everyone who likes him. I mean, I grew to a point. It grew to a point for me where I just kind of liked him on an unintentional level, just because I thought he was just so dopey. But point being, yeah, hot damn, all of that is just gone in this Maroni role. I mean, maybe it's just the fact that he's not wearing a dopey Hawaiian shirt and a mustache, but I don't know. I really got into it, man. I'm really excited about it.
And so then, okay, we're back at the bullpen, and we find out again Lamond he's the child services guy. They try to track down where he is, and there's a real funny Bullock moment where Bullock just Bullock mentions something, I forget, but basically mentioned the case they worked on last time, I suppose, mentioning that he worked for the juvenile services. And then essentially Gordon says, I got it. And basically, this is the same thing he repeats it back and says, that's the same thing I just said. How do you get an idea? How'd you get that? Anyway, so they're now on to the hideout. Gordon as deduced is the first juvenile, the original juvenile services building.
Right.
The new one, since that whole thing had transpired, it's been relocated.
Yeah, really clever, really clever. Again, like you say, they planted the actual Balloon Man himself into the first scene, or one of the first scenes.
Oh yeah.
And now they're planting his eventual location. So really good stuff in terms of writing these little case-a-week mysteries.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so then they split up. They go inside to check out. They see the cart with the balloon and a van. Pretty much like going to his next target, presumably. Anyway, so Lamond's there, and they pretty much holds Bullock at gunpoint, and he's trying to convince Gordon that his way is the right way. The law is not letting things get done. Essentially, he's fed up. What really got him to lose his cool and really start this campaign is basically, I love how this tied into the series. The second episode really sparked his drive, because of the mayor just going on there basically saying, I'm going to help these kids, and pretty much then they just get taken by our bad guys, the Dollmaker bad guys. Pretty much the events of the previous episode really did inspire. Really clever.
Yeah, and I think that is definitely a way that this show is rising above usual case-a-week shows, is that the cases...
There's continuity.
Yeah, exactly. It's like there is stuff from each case that's going to work its way into the overall storyline. So while I am not a big procedural guy, I can kind of go with it.
Yeah, he was really fed up with how the mayor was going to send him to like a prison, essentially.
Yeah, and you and me both talked about it last week, how
Yeah.
that was such a dark idea, so...
Yeah. So he was like one of the few people who was like saying, that's ridiculous, but no one can do it. No one can fight the system in this city because it's so corrupt. And he's reaching out to Gordon because of this. So you and I were trying to do this. I know how you saved those kids. First of all, Bullock in this scene is great, too, because he's pretty much saying, hey, listen, don't kill me. I agree. That first guy deserved
wonderful,
it.
Yeah.
And then he says, hey, I helped save...
Don't kill me, please.
I helped save those kids, too. Pretty much Bullock pleading his life in comedic fashion. Which is great.
Is a treasure.
Essentially, nothing get done to say because of corruption, trying to convince Gordon. He really poses Gordon two important questions, which I really like. Kind of the last statements he left with here. Like, who are you fighting for? With this corrupt system, are you fighting for the mayor? Are you fighting for you're fighting for the corrupt mayor? Are you fighting for the corrupt cops, the lost people? Who are you fighting for, essentially? And then he says, who are you finally? Essentially, kind of posing the question, who will you be at the end of living in this corrupt city? Really important questions. I'm sure again, really good seed planting in this episode. Most of it thematic stuff. Good thematic stuff. However, the only thing that kind of makes me I love that scene except for one bit. Just basically just says, "Oh, forget it." Then he shoots Gordon. Like, you could have given him a little time. Yeah, that was awfully fast. Just give him a little more time. Just have Gordon make a move or something before he starts shooting. Say, forget it.
Yeah, it was like he literally gives Gordon 5 seconds to consider it.
Yeah, I mean, come on. The timing's been off in 2 episodes now. Everybody out.
Right.
Anyway, so let's see. So then we get some poetic justice interrupted when Bullock he frees himself from the guy, and Bullock, a little cruel, usually straps the balloon mechanism. At least he wrestles it from the guy. I guess he straps the balloon.
And I love how Bullock just instantly starts mocking him. How's it feel now? How's it feel now?
Hoist it on your own petard, huh? Then pretty much he's being floated up, and then now this is important. This is definitely a hugely important scene. Now Bullock's saying, "Yeah, good riddance to this guy. He's tried to kill me just now. He's tried to kill you." Pretty much like the classic cop thing. You shoot at a cop, you're gonna die.
Right.
Make sure of that. Essentially, the guy he's going up and looks like he's a goner. Then Gordon jumps on the guy, trying to weigh him down. So hopeless measure. Mm-hmm. And Bullock's freaking out, saying, "Gordon, Jim, let go of the balloons." And pretty much saying, no, lower, shoot the balloon, no, just let go.
God, this is really suspenseful, too.
It is, because, you can only get so high before
they're just getting higher and higher, and I wonder if this was, all wire work or what.
I don't know, it looked really convincing.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, I'm sure there's some CG here and there, but it was, overall, it looked really, you looked like people just dangling up there. So
anyway, so of course Bullock relents and he shoots the balloon. They make it. I wish it could have been a little lower, to be honest with you, visually. But they land on. Thankfully, the van broke their fall.
Broke their fall. Kind of the excuse. But I like how the balloon man. He just he lands on the van and then he just tumbles over and lands on the pavement. Yeah.
And I like how Gordon just kind of gives the thumbs up, the beaten thumbs up. And then, meanwhile, we got a brief scene with Falcone and Fish Mooney. Mm-hmm. It's actually a tense scene again, more that they're really building towards. I presume the next episode's really when things are going to come to a head.
Right.
Falcone and Mooney basically saying, "Oh, what happened to your girlfriend? Oh, she got mugged." And we don't know if she's dead or not. I assume she's dead. Pretty much says she was subject to a mugging. He says, "Oh, I hope that punk got what he deserved." Since the Waymer things just gotten out of control.
Oh yeah.
They're saying, "Oh, he'll be dealt with, and anyone who put out the order will also be dealt with." So
that was the big line of the scene was, since the Waymers, things are just going cuckoo.
Oh yeah, definitely. Pretty much saying, "Hey, I know you did this. I'm coming after you, Moody. You just wait, lady."
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh, that's good.
Also,
is fun.
Also, what they brought up in the scene is important. The concern that Maroney concerned about Maroni and Mooney's plan starting to work because he's starting to think that Maroni was the guy that put out the hit, maybe.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, no, actually, it's more than that. Actually, it's like Maroni's becoming concerned because they hear he's going after Arkham next. And now Falcone, remember this, Maroni's big strength here is he's going after Arkham, and Falcone doesn't like to mess with Arkham apparently. So again, whether it's going to be territory or an actual crazy place where they're storing crazy people, we don't know yet exactly, but we'll find out. Next episode, essentially, he says crazy's bad for business.
Yeah,
so it makes me think that there are crazy people in Arkham, and Falcone doesn't want to deal with it.
I hope we see at least a couple crazy inmates in Arkham next week.
Oh, definitely. I'm sure it's going to be a refuge, too, of some kind. Like, even like the homeless crazy people are going to be in there.
Right, right.
But also, just think about this. Now, Falcone mentioned the pilot. You know, it's Gotham. You need order to have organized crime. You need order.
Mm-hmm.
Now, essentially, you put the crazies in there, it's going to throw the order out of balance, and of course, Falcone doesn't want that. So that's thematic, and that's a big reason he doesn't want to get involved in Arkham. That's really Maroni's only strength, to throw off his order.
Oh yeah,
throw off the order in Gotham. Which essentially the Penguin's doing, so maybe Penguin's going to be an asset to Maroni if he finds out.
Oh, I think Penguin's most definitely, they're kind of playing it like he's going to be Maroni's little puppet for a while.
I'm thinking about whenever my thought was that the instant, I thought I was going to find out faster that he was the Penguin. Basically, Penguin's only option is this guy's my only source of protection. My only leverage. And Maroni gets an inside man, and Penguin's gets sanctuary. That's what I thought they were going. But they wanted a much cooler, a much more we'll see direction, you know?
Right, right.
Anyway, so meanwhile, we have a really cool some cool ending here. Lamont warns Gordon of more vigilantes.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying there will be more. There will be more like me. There's still one balloon unaccounted for. Bruce sees on the TV. This is the scene where Bruce is in Wayne Manor, pretty much saying he killed people, didn't he?
I love that. That moment right there, kind of like. If I wasn't sold on Bruce Wayne by this point, that was what did it for me.
Yeah, so this is, take us through the scene what happened. So essentially Bruce is saying he killed people, didn't he?
Yeah, well, they're just watching on TV, and it's essentially just a philosophical conversation between Bruce and Alfred where he's just like, that's not right. You shouldn't kill no matter how bad the person is. It's still taking a life. It makes you just as bad as the person that you're doing it to.
Yeah, that's the perfect line. Bruce said he killed people. That makes him just as bad as the people he was killing.
Mm-hmm.
That's Batman to a T. So he's definitely the pieces.
Oh, yeah.
The bricks are starting to be laid for Batman.
Sure. Yeah, really good stuff.
Good stuff. And he finally eats. Now I like how. Here's the important part. So on the TV, the reporter says, who will defend the people of Gotham now? So the press is still celebrating this guy too, by the way.
And also the Balloon Man himself, he has a line. There will be more like me.
Yeah, he says that to Gordon.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's like on the TV. She says, who will defend the people of Gotham next? And Bruce looks, and then he starts to eat. Because think about it, now the pieces are forming, and basically, he's thinking to himself, Alfred's right. I need to keep my strength, especially if I'm going to become a vigilante, but perhaps, or at least the vigilante direction might be the route to go, but do it better. Like do it better than a vigilante, something more than a vigilante.
Right. Really
cool direction they're going with there. So that's cool. Then we get a really cool ending. I think it's really true to the Jim Gordon character. Essentially, Gordon comes home pretty much spiritually and physically defeated. He landed on a van from who knows how high. And he's like going
through the sewer.
Trudged through a sewer, but he showered in the meantime. Yeah. Essentially, Gordon's really spiritually defeated. That the city embraced that guy. Embraced this vigilante. And Gordon believes in law, and Gordon still believes in law, but unfortunately he's like the only one who still believes in it. He's winning, he's the usher in this scene, they really hammer in this scene that Gordon's fighting a really uphill battle, and he's starting to realize this is really going to be difficult. Mm-hmm. Essentially, I'm the only guy that cares in the city about law and order, and it's a hopeless battle, but I'm the only guy fighting it, though.
Yeah, he diagnoses the city as sick.
Yeah, and this is a good scene where Barbara realizes. I'm glad they don't have another scene of like her asking him if he's corrupt. Pretty much, her
Oh, I know.
realizing. Her realizing.
I was getting pretty sick of that.
Yeah, her realizing that how can I look at this man? He's walking in here. He's spiritually defeated, and he's saying it. This job is so much still trying to be an honest guy in the city. Pretty much her saying like, how can I ever think this man is corrupt? Look at him. He's trying his hardest here. He's coming in battered
Right.
and bruised emotionally and physically. How can I not? How can I not shower this man with love?
Yeah, screw you, Montoya.
Yeah, and then the moment's interrupted by now what I thought. Speaking of Montoya, now what I thought was going to happen. I thought they were going to have like a bad ending where it was going to be
Oh God.
Montoya. Like I was expecting Montoya to be at the door saying, "I'm here to arrest you, Jim Gordon. I'm here to." I was ready to be pissed off at that. It's like,
Oh
what?
man. Oh, that would have been awful.
I know it would have
Jim
been.
Gordon, you're under the arrest for the murder of Oswald Cobblepot.
Yeah. Thankfully, they did something 10 times better than that.
Oh yes.
An unexpected surprise. I didn't see it coming. Did you see it coming?
When the doorbell rang, yeah, I kind of saw it coming. Honestly, I either thought it was going to be Penguin, or I thought offshoot possibility it could have been Zaz, because they've set Zaz up in the promos.
But
So I was thinking either Penguin or Zaz.
How do you get Zaz? And in fact, we've never even heard the guy's name mentioned in the show yet.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it would just be a cliffhanger, like, "Hello, Jim Gordon. My name is Zaz." I don't know Zaz's first name.
Victor, I don't know.
Victor. That's what I thought. I just didn't want to say it at the risk of being wrong. "Hello, Jim Gordon. My name is Victor Zaz."
It's
like-
integrated nicely.
No, he doesn't
Oh.
say that.
Anyway,
He says, "Hello, Jim, old friend."
the penguin says, "Hello, Jim."
Oh,
He's fully
it's
dressed
so
in his
creepy.
penguin attire, and just the Gordon's badge just walking there.
All he's missing at this point is the monocle and the top hat. If he gets that, then he's like 100% the Penguin.
Well, my point is he's like dressed in his Fish Mooney garb when he was working for Fish Mooney, so he's dressed. Apparently, Penguin's definitely got a plan. He's trying to present himself to the Gordon here as like in control. So again, remember previous episode. This is important going forward. He labeled Gordon as a stooge. So he's deliberately taking advantage of Gordon here. He's trying to propose. And maybe you were right. You and I are both right in a way of him thinking Gordon is a stooge, but trying to manipulate him into being a friendly stooge.
Right.
Most definitely. So the point is Cobblepot returns, and that's going to stir up a lot of problems for Gordon.
Oh yeah. We can only imagine.
All right. So next, we get into the thoughts or promo next. I guess let's talk about final thoughts on the episode before we get the promo.
Final thoughts? I'm gonna be honest. Like, I think people have kind of been coming down on this a little bit because it's just kind of the case a week thing, and I'm usually the kind of person who hates case a week. But as I mentioned before, I really enjoyed the fact that this episode, the case from last week, was brought into it. The case from the week before was brought. So if they keep doing that, if the cases actually matter, and it's not just like CSI where it's like, oh, okay, let's do this for 45 minutes and it'll all be solved.
It was so cool when they did the Dollhouse Killer, though. On CSI, though, it was so cool when they did the Dollhouse Killer runner. They did that for a few episodes. That's one of my points.
I don't watch CSI. No. But
right, sorry.
Yeah, but overall, I think it's by far my favorite episode so far. I mean,
really?
I did think it was my favorite episode because I really enjoyed all the stuff between Bruce and Alfred. I thought that was stuff that we've been waiting for since the pilot.
Oh yeah.
As much as I enjoyed the Smiley couple from last episode, I thought, of course, they were a little over the top. So it was good to see a villain that was a little more grounded in spite of the, on paper, ridiculous concept of the villain.
But it wasn't that grounded.
Oh dear. All right, well, what do you think?
Again, overall, I think it was definitely a solid episode. I mean, if it is kind of like a procedural filler episode. Definitely had a lot of solid things and really holds up thematically in the rewatch.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
Yeah,
cool
for
ideas
sure.
I didn't really think of. First time watching, really kind of started to hit home. Like Gordon dealing with a vigilante and how really they really get to the heart of it, especially just even talking about it now. How really inferior and hopeless that makes Gordon feel and about his role in the city. That people are idolizing a
Right,
vigilante.
right.
Really, he directly killed people, and they're praising this guy. Just seeds into why he's kind of issues with Batman years later, is being a vigilante. Well, his relationship with vigilantes, and just
Yeah.
again, just this episode more than the other two. I mean, the other two have been smartly seeding it in already. How bad a city Gotham is, and how unrealistic, not unrealistically, but how exaggeratedly, how exaggerated.
Oh, hello, children. We're going on an adventure.
She was film brain.
Oh God.
No. The point is like how exaggerated. I mean, exaggerated how the violence and the corruption can be. Like just going from the opening of this episode, just literally getting it down to the teeth.
Yeah.
But in a good way. In a good way, I should say. It's style.
Make another appearance at the opening of this episode, by the way. I forgot to mention that.
I'm sorry.
The Underdwellers. The Underdwellers.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, it's the Underdwellers again.
You and your underdwellers.
I love that episode.
But see, my point though, basically, it's real stylistically, it's feeding into the how bad Gotham is and how it really desperately needs someone like Jim Gordon to kind of show it. There is hope, because really the city is utterly hopeless. Aside from the victimized people, it's utterly hopeless. And again,
Absolutely.
I like how they've been seeing it so far. You got like very few people, like the homeless guy who got killed in the second episode. There is still hope, but it's underneath. Again, that sewer is the perfect scene for it. So he has to go through all that stuff. Underneath Gotham, there is hope, but it's really messy and muddied and it's mucked. You just gotta dig through it. But there is hope and there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Again, pardon the pun. So a really solid. Solid episode. Wasn't perfect in terms of just the Montoya stuff and.
Yeah, the Montoya stuff definitely brings it down for sure.
I think more so than the previous ones Montoya doesn't, but it's been a continual cycle though. That's the hard thing to measure though. It's building upon building Montoya.
Right.
However, the reason I can't say it's perfect is they got like those holes in logic, like the whole how do they not know what happened to the below? I'm sorry, that's the thing I can't forgive.
Yeah, I hear you.
Basically, that stuff. That's really what's got me. And I gotta admit though, Gordon and Bullock's thing, it was good. It was a little repetitive of their issue with the Wayne killer. I got it, guys.
I'll agree with you there.
There are 3 scenes of it. I'm just saying you could have scaled at least one of those back.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree.
It's kind of the same scene over and over again.
Right.
Definitely keep the first one. Second one, okay. Don't give me it again.
Yeah, for sure.
But they are going somewhere with it, which is good. So we'll speaking of what where they're going. I guess we'll get into some promo next episode talk here.
Yeah, just really quick, keep it brief. Yeah.
So next episode we're going to Arkham, literally, because the episode's called Arkham. Again, it's speculative whether it's just works like Begins, where like the mob's operating within the hollowed-out 15-year-old deserted Arkham, or maybe it's still operating somewhat, or again, we don't know for certain logistics of it. Point is, Arkham's going to play in big time. It's going to be mob fighting for control over Arkham in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Penguin and Gordon looks like you're going to team up. It's going to be a shaky team up because at the beginning,
yeah.
The promo looks like they're going to pick up. They're going to pick up where they left off. Of Gordon literally saying, "I told you never to come back to Gotham," which was awesome, by the way.
Oh, sure.
Penguin saying, "Listen, Mr. Gordon, I can help you," and he's playing him. We know he's playing him.
Of course, he's playing him.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so Penguin's going to play in big time the next episode. There was a really good line that Bruce had talking to Gordon, basically saying, "Do you believe Gotham can be saved?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Gordon, Bruce is going to be affected next episode because apparently it's a really interesting idea that it would seem that Bruce is upset that people are misusing one of his parents' last project together, saving Arkham Asylum, which is a really interesting idea.
Yeah, right. Good
so
point.
Arkham, Bruce feels he's responsible for Arkham. I guess, and now the mob's taking control of that, so he wants to get involved. Maybe how involved he's going to get next episode, we'll see.
Mhm.
But the point is, like, do you believe Gotham can be saved? Again, thematically tying into this one, the next one, we'll see in our next titles for the episodes after that. Viper, which I presume might have
we have
defeated. Yeah,
I haven't heard any of the new titles yet.
yeah,
Okay,
we
this
got
is
3
new.
new titles.
Okay.
Viper, which I speculate perhaps will be Ivy Pepper working her way in there, maybe. Maybe.
Uh-huh.
Spirit of the
Perhaps.
Goat is the one after that. Spirit of the
What?
Goat. Spirit
Oh
of the
dear
Goat.
God.
Now, I speculate in the comics, Black Mask had this story recently where he was doing battle with some guys. No, not he had like an organization called the False Face Society, and there were some guys with some goat mask in there involved. I'm
Uh-huh.
not. I forget exactly what the story was that they were wearing goat masks, and maybe, perhaps involves that, but it could be its own thing entirely. So don't quote me on that. The last one. The last one's
Sure.
important. Penguin's
Okay.
umbrella.
Oh.
Now let me tell you what I think it's going to
Okay.
be, real quick. I just one speculatory thought on this. I'm thinking
Would that put
Penguin's
us to episode 7, right?
yes. I think
Okay.
Penguin's umbrella will be about Penguin's his plan here about him like this. I think the umbrella is going to be a code for like his web of like connections in
Mhm.
Gotham. Like
Mhm.
he'll have like a chart laid out like an umbrella of like all the points in Gotham or like, the people in
Oh
Gotham to
man.
manipulate. Or like, his grand plan is what I think. He's going to work on that list he made in the trail, but make it into an umbrella shape of sorts. Or like all his family, like his new mob family, he's starting to form himself called the Umbrella or something. I don't know.
Oh,
So,
that's really exciting.
last hope to get away for Arkham is that maybe we'll get that episode where like that's a long shot. Maybe in the future though we'll have Gordon, Nigma, Bullock, and Montoya trapped in Arkham solving a case or trapped in Arkham.
Oh, we can only hope. We need more Nigma. We
Yeah,
really do.
like I'm saying, like on location, trapped in a location with Nigma, you know.
Right, right. Yeah,
Hey,
exactly. All right.
yeah,
So will that about do it for this episode?
yeah, that'll about do it. Anything else before we get to the ending here?
No, I'm all good.
Alright, so remember, kids, however dark and scary the world may be right now, there will be light. There will be light.
Oh yes. Next time when we go exploring Gotham. Ooh.